It's week 3 of the Seahorse School quilt along, and this week we are sewing the fish and the bubble blocks. Come on inside and join me. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jennifer Long from Sew a Story, early years educator turned Riley Blake fabric designer, and this is week 3 of the Seahorse School quilt along. This week is, as far as technique goes, easy peasy. There's lots of little pieces, but it's all stitch and flip, and you will be just wonderful in it. So let's talk through some of the options you can do, a little ways to maybe have some fun, chain piece, a couple of other things. All right. So week 3, create the bubbles and the fish blocks. So if you are just joining us now, this is a sew along, a free sew along that we're doing at Sew a Story. This fabric that we're using is the Created with Love fabric collection, and this pattern is called Seahorse School. You can grab this pattern and the fabric kit at your favorite local quilt shop. You can grab the PDF pattern at the Sew a Story shop. Just download it there. And if you are part of our monthly subscription, our pattern club, where you get 2 patterns every single month, plus extra downloads for parenting guides and all kinds of things, this is the pattern this month, so you can download it as well. Seahorse School quilt along. We're doing the bubbles and the fish. The bubbles are actually starting on page 13. So you can see that we have all the cutting charts just as we have always done, and then there's the blocks. So it's really easy to follow if you're using your own fabrics or scrappy fabrics. And it's very visual too. So you can see exactly, when you make your bubble block, it's just like a snowball block. You're going to just grab your square, that's going to be your bubble, and you're going to grab your fabric. Now, these aren't the right colors, but I'm just using them to show you. We did this. If you want a more detailed stitch and flip technique, we did it in week 2 video. You're always welcome to go back and rewatch that. But just to review here, this is like what your bubble will be, and your snowball, you're going to put the image right on the corner. So I can have my shirt. It's like a design board. And then we're going to sew from corner to corner. It's that easy. You can go ahead and draw, or sometimes on your machine there's a line or a foot. You can get lots of great tools like a little laser light. You can put tape along your machine at the exact where your needle goes down, or your 1/4 inches, and you can follow that along. So once you sew along that line, when you stitch and flip it, it actually looks like this. So what you do right before that is, after you've sewn all of your squares, you'll just trim away the excess. It's up to you if you want to just push them back and have your seam allowance going to the darker fabric, which is the ocean fabric here, or if you want to open up your seams. If you're going to open up your seams, I would highly suggest that you shorten your seam length, at least to 2 millimeters. It's going to feel like really short maybe and tight, but then you kind of get that extra stability when you open up your seams. And I do this trick that I love to share with you before you start. So you can even have a leader, a piece of fabric where you start right on it, and then it's always what you do when you're chain piecing, so you don't get that like nesting happening at the back. Or if you don't want to have a leader, you can just take the 2 threads, the bobbin and the top thread in your hand, and just give them a twist. Kind of a long arm trick actually, but you just pull them up and give them a twist and hold it there. And as you start to sew, you just keep a little bit of tension, and it's just going to keep the thread moving. So it works the same as a leader without having a leader. So you're just going to make your snowballs or your like bubbles just like that, and then you're going to continue on and just add all of the background pieces. There we go. All of the background pieces as per the instructions. So pretty easy for the bubbles. The fish begins on page 18, This is where it gets so fun. So again, this is just your HSTs with little straight lines. So just like we did in video 2, this is your HST. Again, if you have a shortened seam allowance, then I like to press everything open when there's this many little details everywhere. So I would like to press my seam open, but again, it's totally up to you if you want to press to the dark side. And some of these are actually in flying geese units too. So you would just make sure that you have your seams pressing in just a direction that's consistent with how you're doing it. Then you're going to give it lots of nice pressing, and just beware of the trim steps. So lots of good trim steps. You're going to see on the facing page on the side that it gives you all of the pieces, and then it gives you the unfinished measurement. So the measurement that you want to have it trimmed to before you go into the next step. So if you see here, like this image right here, it says 2 by 2 3/4. This is the left facing, and the right facing, it says make one. It couldn't be easier. And an F that's 2 and 2 3/4. So you just want to check. It feels a little bit cumbersome to like check every piece, but sometimes things shift. Sometimes you're not exactly over there. When you stitch and flip, it kind of adds maybe even like 1/8 of an inch. And over lots of little pieces, that can actually become substantial. So if you want to have a really accurate fish, then you're going to want to trim it. Believe me, it's just going to make it so easy. So if you're making multiple fish, you can sew multiple fish at once. And or this is just how you do them different facing. So you can change how they're facing, or if they're all going in one direction, all towards the seahorse maybe, all away. That is completely up to you, or just as the pattern states. So this is a very consumable week. It's the fish and the bubbles week, stitch and flip technique, sewing, stitch lengths, fabric placement. So I wanted to have them all like feel cohesive and consistent. So I'll give them the dark floral scales, as you can see here. And then we have like a yellow, sort of like a tanny orange, and then the green here, or like the clay, I guess, color, and the green fish here. But you could go ahead and make them completely rainbow. It would be so fun to have all of those scales like a rainbow fish. There's just so many options that you can do with them too, to play around and have some fun. Maybe they're even blowing rainbow bubbles. Who knows? So, that is all week 3. I'd love to see what you're sewing. If you want to share it along on social, we have a Sew a Story Facebook group. Love to have you join it, and share inside of there your progress. Maybe share how you're having your grandchildren or your children helping you in the sewing room. And you're going to get a lot of cutoffs. So let's just talk about those for a second. Talking about children, home, and grandkids in your sewing space. With all these cutoffs, you could just toss them away, or you could put them in a great basket and bring a glue stick and a large piece of paper, or a piece of fabric for that matter, and have them like just make a whole design. Who knows what they could come up with? And they can be working alongside of you while you're creating the fish and the bubbles this week. And then I would love to see any little images that they make with all of these cutoffs as well. So that's a great idea for how to keep sewing and bring children into your space this summer. That's week 3 for Seahorse School Quilt Along. Next week, you're going to join me. We are already assembling the quilt top. So we have the seahorse block. We've got the fish. Don't worry if you're getting ahead or behind. The videos are always here live, and you can just share as you are able to. But we'd love for you to keep watching and staying with us. So yeah. Can't wait to see what you create. And until next time, I hope you have a very lovely week sewing. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.